Good afternoon and welcome to the Senior Hour. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, and Hestia Med Spa. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, bringing information to enhance one's quality of life. Barbara has the day off today, but we are enthusiastic about our first guest, Denise Lite, who is running for Santa Clarita City Council, and I just think that is so cool. Denise, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here.
Great. Now, listen, I got to ask you, first, just to let our listeners know, tell us about yourself and motivation to keep senior issues in the forefront.
Well, I've been a Santa Clarita resident for 13 years. I own a business out here, and my husband and I have 2 sons. And I decided to get involved with the city and run for office because I care so much for other people. I'm very involved in fundraising and community outreach with multiple nonprofits, and I thought, what a better way to expand that reach and help other people in the community by running for local office. So that's why I decided to get involved. And our seniors represent a very large percentage of the population. Roughly 20 to 21% of Santa Clarita's population, as I understand, is seniors. So they're a big but mighty group that we have to protect and look out for.
Absolutely, and that's great. You have been at city council meetings like I have, and it's great, Denise, that you are running. But tell me this, as you know, the city has limited jurisdiction over the laws. I mean, if somebody, seniors go to city council and say, I want you to fix Medicare, that's a federal law.
Right.
If they want you to fix Medi-Cal, that's a state law. So how do we educate the public of the jurisdiction of the city council members?
Well, there's a couple of ways to do that. Number one, the city could make a video that it could post on its website, which describes, the various levels of jurisdiction and who you would contact for those types of needs or services. But some seniors are either afraid of technology or they don't like to use technology. And so, sending out a mailer about, the hierarchy of government and how it works, maybe that they could keep tableside to use as a reference card would be another great service to provide to them so that they do know who to call or who to reach out to in the event that they have a question or concern.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great idea. I mean, that's something we have not done. And, so often we have public comment at city council meetings, and the people will bring up problems that are real problems, but, they don't realize that the city council doesn't have a whole lot to do with that. But, one of the problems that everybody is facing is homelessness. And, the fastest the growing homeless population is with seniors. So what can we do on city council? If you are elected as a city council member, how do you keep seniors from becoming homeless?
Well, one of the things that, many cities and states themselves have is they have, a Department of Aging where it's solely focused on the needs of seniors, that provides resources for them. It gives a one-stop shop, for those calls where they can filter out what the needs are. And that, that would be a great resource for us to have at the city, some type of department exclusively devoted to seniors to help them avoid, those problems in the first place, whether it's, financial counseling or getting other members of the family involved, so that there's a team effort to prevent that from happening.
That's a great idea. I mean, you're coming up with these ideas, and I'm glad you're running for city council. These ideas have to be put forward. And yeah, Department of Aging, one stop shop. So many of my patients say, where do I call for this? Where do I call for that? And, Denise, they kind of run into roadblocks. So
right.
Department of Aging, I think, would be just a great idea that we should examine. And of course, we have to figure out the cost
right.
of it. But, still, it should be at least discussed. And I think, with you on city council, you're going to bring that. Obviously, you're going to bring that topic up. But, the one thing that we are very proud of in Santa Clarita is the Santa Clarita Senior Center.
Right.
And, it's been a source for, during the pandemic of nutrition, activities, all the things that we have tried to do and other senior centers have tried to do. We have done it, I think, the best. Just to toot our horn a little bit, and I think you already know this, that our senior center provided 1 million,
yes,
1 million meals in a year to seniors in the Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley. I mean, this is awesome, but this kind of focus on senior center is some of it is related to city council and those who sit on it. So how do we continue to enhance through the senior center? How do we continue to enhance our senior center?
Well, the city can work towards making sure that we get continued funding through various programs, county, state, and federal wide. You mentioned the million meals that were provided. That is such an incredible number, and that shows you, the devotion of all of the people at the senior center, the volunteers, the families that get involved. I mean, that is no easy feat, and that is such an incredible service provided to the people of Santa Clarita and the Antelope Valley. So making sure that we stay on top of continued funding for those programs that allow that to happen, is really, really essential. And, the pandemic was very hard for the seniors, I'm sure. My friends and I are a member of Seroptimist, and we go to the senior center at Halloween and Christmas time, and we can only imagine how the seniors felt not seeing us, but in all honesty, we missed seeing them so much more at their holiday celebrations, providing entertainment for them, making friends with them. They're just such wonderful, great people, and I can't wait for them to open back up to the public where we can interact and see all of our older friends again.
Right. Times have been no doubt difficult, and as we start digging into the weeds of the topics that and the troubles that everybody face, not just Santa Clarita, but in Santa Clarita, the cost, the rent is going up in apartments and at trailer parks, and the seniors are in financial jeopardy. But how can we through city council make sure that seniors are not evicted from their premises where they live?
Well, we can research what types of grants are available from all levels of government to, help protect our seniors. We can get families involved to create, master plans for their family member to make sure that they're not evicted or protected. And really, get out there and research what's available in terms of funding to make sure that they have a high quality living space where, their health is not in jeopardy.
Yeah, and it's when I periodically have to go down to the San Fernando Valley, and every time I go down, I see furniture out on the street.
Oh, yes.
And I know it's a result of evictions. Haven't really seen that here, but I'm afraid that it could happen. So this is not, Denise, is it an easy topic for us to talk about, because it affects, comes from not just the city level, but it's the county, the state, and the federal levels that we have to deal with as well.
Right. It is. And, I travel into the San Fernando Valley quite often, and I see so much more homelessness down in the San Fernando Valley. And, homelessness is a multi-tiered problem. It's sure, it's people who have become elderly and maybe they get evicted, but it's also, sometimes people experience a one-time life event. They get divorced. They have a serious health issue where their medical bills are crushing. They have some other trauma in their life where they become homeless, and, it's hopefully our moral responsibility as good stewards to help these people who want to be helped get over their one-time crisis and give them a hand out so that they can give a help up back to
Hmm.
being
Very
productive
good.
members of society.
And there's no doubt that many of our seniors are actually still working.
Right.
Surprising for most people, they're bringing in income, and they've figured out how they balance out their retirement and their Social Security, and still being able to work. And many of our seniors, of course, are volunteering more,
Right.
especially at the senior center. Seniors helping seniors,
Right.
which is we've been saying that for years. But one of the things as you get older, driving becomes a problem, and sometimes we have to start relying on our on transportation.
Right.
And luckily here in Santa Clarita, we do have free bus rides,
Right.
which is great. But still sometimes you're waiting for the bus, and the timing of it, and a bus stop not near you can be inconvenient, especially if your mobility is not that great. So how do we enhance what we have now, free bus rides, but how do we enhance it and carry it over into better transportation, improved transportation for those who are mobile, and as well maybe those who are not as mobile? What can the city do, and what has the city done? What will it do in the future to allow our seniors to continue that mobility, whether it be for work or for pleasure?
Yes, I've been at city council meetings, and I've heard some members of the community, express concern that the bus service only goes to a certain hour in the evening. And if they wanted to come, down to Main Street here and see a play, and then maybe go out for a cup of coffee after the bus service ends for them at a specific period of time, and they can't stay any later than the last bus. And so, looking into the possibility of providing, taxi vouchers or Uber or Lyft credits, to seniors that will allow them to go places at any hour of the day, regardless of the bus service. And the bus service is great, but when it's 116 degrees outside and you have to be sitting outside waiting for the bus, it's difficult for the strongest of us, and the most vulnerable shouldn't have to be sitting out in the Santa Clarita heat in 115 degrees in July trying to get to their medical appointment or get to some event that they would like to participate in. So looking into those types of options are great. Free train service, looking into that would be great. That might
Mm-hmm.
involve the county at some level.
Yeah.
But allowing them to be on their own time instead of somebody else's time would help them stay more active, would help them stay more engaged in the community, and that's a benefit to them.
And and when I mentioned recreation and people being able to use the transportation, I will tell you that I know so many older adults here in Santa Clarita that would love to be able to get on Metrolink and go down to a Dodger game,
Right.
and have it just a seamless, smooth ride all the way down without the worries of mobility or steps or anything, and be able to get into the stands and enjoy a day at the ballpark.
Right.
And it's downtown, but I've ridden that route before in the past, and it takes about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can do that, that would enhance for all of us.
Oh, sure.
For all of us, the quality of life that we have. It's okay to watch baseball on TV, but I tell you, there's a whole different atmosphere, of course, when you're at Dodger Stadium.
Well, and you happen to be speaking my language because I'm like the biggest Dodger fan there is out here in Santa Clarita, so I can really appreciate the enthusiasm for seeing our boys in blue play in person. There's nothing like a ice cold beer on a super hot day. That's what my grandma used to tell me. So yes, I agree.
Well, my mom is 100 years old, and she lives in Santa Clarita, and she bleeds Dodger blue.
Oh, wow, that's great.
So we used to go to a lot of games. We had pretty good seats, and but once I just remember that she had trouble getting up the steps at some point, and I remember when she did, that was her last game. But that shouldn't be the deciding factor,
right,
as to why she can't go to games. And if we can arrange the transportation, and then you worry about bathrooms and eating and everything else.
Right.
But it's really not just Dodger blue, but I tell you, the Angels will be good. There are a lot of people listening right now and going boo, but it's the Angels. The Angels are a good team as well, and I don't, that's a lot further away, but,
oh, yeah.
Certainly for those fans, if we can make that arrangement, that certainly would enhance many people's lives by being able to get to maybe one or a few games a year. It also applies to the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, sure.
Catherine Barker has given us the Senior Center tickets to the Hollywood Bowl at least once a year, and our seniors really enjoy it. So, you're talking my language about how we're going to change the atmosphere and improve the atmosphere of what's going on in Santa Clarita. One serious question, kind of serious, but hard to, it's difficult only because it might not just be in the hands of the city, but, we have one skilled nursing facility, a nursing home in Santa Clarita, and we only have one hospital. We are a growing community that at some point will need more. Is there anything that we can do to increase that number or do something about it? Or I know they're doing a lot of expansion at our hospital, but I think we have to have medical care, especially for our older adults. How do we enhance that?
Yes, our population right now in Santa Clarita is about 238,000. We're going to be approaching 250,000 in the next 5 to 8, maybe 9 years. So your observation is really correct. We need to make sure that we have enough medical providers and services out here to take care of everybody. And hospitals are super expensive to build. They are incredibly, it's extremely time consuming. There are many requirements and overlays from multiple agencies. And so another hospital for a city this size is probably not in the cards, especially with regard to the cost. But yes, there should be, when I think about people living on the east side of town, Sand Canyon, Canyon Country, if there's an extreme emergency, crossing town in traffic 45 minutes, to get to Henry Mayo may be a life or death situation. And so investigating what can be done for people to prevent a 45-minute ride across town in an ambulance is definitely something that we should be looking at.
And not an easy call, and it would be difficult. I just, I run with your opinion. I think you're absolutely right, but I think it's something that we have to keep in the back of our mind,
for sure,
to make sure that we don't fall short of facilities that could help us in terms of health care, because that's critical, obviously, for the senior population. I have so many more questions, Denise, and I thank you for being on the show, and I think we have to have you back.
I would love that
to keep going. And you with your answers, I hear the empathy and the sympathy and the care that you have toward our senior population. And to me, being on the Senior Hour today, I think, and I hope, Denise, people have, learned about you, but also know that you are a caring person that has these ideas, like the Department of Aging, has to be put out there. And I think bringing that to the dais at City Hall will be important. Denise Lite, thank you for being on our show today. It's a warm welcome to you, and good luck with your run toward City Council. Not an easy task, but obviously, if you indeed serve us, you will serve us in a way that will definitely help many of those seniors in our community. Thank you, Denise, for being on our show today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to coming back again soon.
Great. Thank you, Denise, again. So we're going to take a break. We're going to have Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy, and I'm going to probably want to talk to him, as I usually do, about core strength, because core strength helps keep you from falling. So, and that's the important part of being able to listen to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
It's time to experience a pain relief, wellness, and anti-aging treatment unlike any other. It's time to check out Mend Cryotherapy. Relieve chronic joint and muscle pain, diminish soreness and inflammation, alleviate stress-related symptoms, boost immune system performance, and improve sleep and recovery times. Mend Cryotherapy is open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to Mend, M-E-N-D, cryotherapy.com on Newhall Ranch Road in the Gateway Shopping Center.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com. Thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
Want to laugh at TMJ and that obscenely overpriced bike guard? Discover the 3 most common mistakes that must change to stop TMJ for good. Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Pilecki, and WebMD chooses me as best chiropractor in functional medicine in Santa Clarita. Something to think about. So, when you're ready to get better, go to drpilecki.com. That's drpolucki.com to schedule your free consultation now.
It's time to enhance your natural beauty at Hestia Medical Spa. Select from a large menu of services, including an assortment of fillers that can be used in the face, lips, hands, and a variety of other body parts. Get rid of that double chin with Kybella, an injectable treatment to permanently destroy fat cells under the chin. Hestia Medical Spa also offers Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin to help reduce severe frown lines. Experience rejuvenation at Hestia Medical Spa, located on Valencia Boulevard next to City Hall. Call 753-3434 or go online to hestiamedicalspa.com.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. Now we are joined by Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. And Adam, welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Dr. Dorio. Thanks for having me.
And you know, when you've been on the show before in the past, an important aspect of what you do for our seniors is help preventing falls. And the way one can do that is by augmenting their core strength. And so I just want to talk about it because, you know, for some people, core, C-O-R-E, is, you know, kind of a ephemeral thing where they don't exactly know, is that leg strength, shoulder strength, back strength? But let's kind of define, Adam, if you don't mind, what is core strength?
Absolutely. So core strength really kind of refers to kind of muscles around your trunk. It really is bigger than that. It's, you know, it's your glutes, it's everything. But, you know, when we talk about core, there's kind of 4 layers of abdominal muscles that we tend to work on. One in particular called the transverse abdominis. You know, your muscles in your lower back, there's a kind of a group of them that we call the erector spinae, but, you know, it includes multifidus and, you know, I don't know that we need to get into those, you know, specifics, but, you know, multifidus and quadratus lumborum. It's basically all those muscles that surround your trunk, because everything stems from that, because that's kind of where your center of mass is. And so, you know, it can make it very difficult if somebody's had a fall or a stroke or something like that and they don't have that core strength. You know, just sitting up can be a challenge. I always like to kind of educate patients, you know, how important it is, because when you think about it, like I always say, kind of revert back to our, you know, when we're born, you know, we have no strength whatsoever. We're dependent on everything. And, you know, the first thing that a child gets is head control. Once they get that head control, then they start to get their core control. And when they get that, you know, then they can start to, you know, lift their legs up and touch it with their hands, and they can, you know, they can reach for things. They can then start to roll over. But all of that stems from that core strength. You know, if you don't have that, you can't do that. And so when somebody has fallen and things have gotten weak, you know, if you don't have that, just sitting up can be difficult. And think about, you know, sitting and trying to reach for something. That's how somebody can get outside of their base of support. And if they don't have that core strength, they'll fall forward. They'll lose their balance. And, you know, as you get more dynamic in your movement patterns, that core becomes more and more important, because, you know, you need to have that hip strength and you need to have that core strength so that you can walk and you can, you know, adjust to your different things, going up and down stairs, squatting down, getting up from a chair. So it really does stem from all those muscles that kind of surround your trunk. And if they're not working, then everything else is trying to make up for that difference. So core strength, you know, we hear about it all the time with exercise and all that type of stuff, but that's what we really like to do in the clinic, is teaching that core.
So let's, you know, our listeners are now maybe sitting, maybe in a car, but they're listening to the value of core strength. But, you know, and some of them don't get out as much as they should. They certainly will not go to a gym to work out. But there are certain things, Adam, that can be done at home.
Absolutely.
That would be helpful, but you, of course, have to be consistent at it. But can you describe, and it's going to be hard to do, if we were on television, that would work, and, you know, there is Facebook, but not everybody has that. But can you describe for us how the kinds of exercises, what they can do to increase that core strength?
Absolutely. And I should back up. I forgot to mention also the pelvic floor, which is the kind of the bottom of that core. Pelvic floor is really important as well with getting those muscles. It's kind of a triangle, if you will, kind of muscles that work together to stabilize everything in your kind of your trunk region. So back to your question. That's one of the things that we do when they come in for physical therapy is, you know, I'm kind of known for grabbing my anatomy book or my posters that are on the wall. I'll take them off the wall and I literally show the patients, you know, and show them the different layers of core muscles, both in their stomach and in their back. And then we go through techniques where we basically get them aware, just laying on the table, of how to fire those different muscles. Because a lot of times, if somebody's fallen, they've done EMG studies, those muscles shut off 24 hours after the injury. Unless you physically restore that and get that motor pattern back, a lot of times they don't work. And I've had patients that have had back pain for, say, 30 years, and all of a sudden we start getting those muscles to engage again, and the back pain starts to go away. To try and educate that on the air, like you say, is a little bit difficult. But most people, we could find kind of the front of our pelvis, the bones that are where our belt hits, and then we roll in about an inch. And when we get to that, that's on that transverse abdominis, and you're actually pushing through a little bit of rectus abdominis and your internal and external obliques. But so what we do is we educate and teach people how to fire that muscle. And know that they are recruiting it correctly, and we do that again kind of with tactile input, so it's a little hard to describe on the radio. But once somebody has that awareness of how that feels, because a lot of times they won't have felt that for a while, then you can do simple exercises. You can do it laying in bed. You could do it, if you're driving and you sit in at a stoplight, have people pull and draw in their tummy muscles to get that muscle fire. But you can cheat with that, and so that's where, again, the education that we do in the clinic. Because if they just kind of hold their breath, they're going to do what's called a Valsalva maneuver, and it makes those muscles tense, but you can't walk around holding your breath all the time. These muscles need to be able to engage when you open a door, when you get up from a chair, when you lift a bag of groceries. And so we educate so that those muscles, you have to kind of retrain them to turn on when you do those activities. So that's what we do in physical therapy, is we're teaching those exercises, and then we replicate that with either, maybe picking up a 5-pound weight while they're doing an exercise, and they're engaging those core muscles to make sure they feel that. Once they've got that mastered, then we get up off the table and we start doing it more in a dynamic position, meaning that, they're reaching for stuff in the clinic, or they're maybe, going up a step, or they're doing different things in that realm.
And Adam, one of the things that I know some of my patients do is when they're washing dishes,
yes,
and standing at the sink,
yep,
they'll tighten their muscles.
Absolutely.
During that time, people will sit down and read the newspaper, but instead, standing up and reading it at a counter, like in the kitchen, and tightening those muscles up,
exactly,
and doing them sequentially.
Exactly.
There are times when we could be doing some kind of exercise while we're also doing other things around the house.
Yeah.
And for enjoyment, reading a book.
Yeah.
You could stand up and lift your legs.
Absolutely.
So there are things that we, Adam, could do that, I'm trying to, when I try to advise our patients, I can stand there and tell them, because I'm there at their home. But, like you said, it's hard to describe it through a radio show.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I had a new patient yesterday, and they had trouble just getting from sitting on the table to laying down, and that caused a lot of pain with those transitional movements. And so, one of the things we did is we worked on firing that transverse abdominis and getting some stability in the spine. And when they got back up off the table and they contracted that muscle, the pain was much, much less. I actually just saw them right before I came here, and yesterday, trying to lift a leg was painful, and today they were able to lift their leg, put it up on the bolster, and it didn't cause any pain at all. But because they got that core muscles to engage and start doing their job, and again, I kind of go back to, your brain has these different pathways that it uses, and sometimes when you have an injury, those pathways shut off, and that's where physical therapy, and then also their home program of, like you're saying, doing it when you're washing the dishes, doing it when you're reading a book, and challenging yourself to engage those muscles so that motor pattern starts to restore, that what's called neuro re-education occurs. And so the brain says, oh, I got to open up this door to, then it's going to be heavy. My core is going to engage right before I pull on the door. And that's where you get those things that help and cumulative at the end of the day. Because a lot of times people at the end of the day, their back will be sore. And it's because of those little tweaks they've done all day long because the core wasn't working correctly. And so they add up, and that's why at the end of the day, the muscles are like, I've had it with you, you know. I'm going to just, you know, spasm up and create some tension because I'm tired of not working properly, and then they're in pain. So, you know, getting those muscles incorporated and working into all your daily activities is crucial.
And, you know, a lot of times I'll tell my patients that, you know, they're watching television, and during the commercials, I have them tighten their abs up. You know, I might have them lift some dumbbells during commercial. I mean, you figure this. When you're watching television, there are a lot of commercials.
Absolutely.
So you really, if you were to do exercises during commercials, your core strength would be phenomenal by the end of the day, let alone the end of the month or year.
Yeah.
So, you know, you really have to make it enjoyable, easy to remember, because you really, Adam, as you know, when people don't exercise, when they don't move around, when they don't try to improve their core strength, it gets harder to make that transfer like you talked about.
Exactly.
So we want people to find a way to do it, find the exercises, and you know, we talk about doing, like, you know, abdominal muscle strengthening, but you know, and everybody thinks sit-ups.
Yep.
I mean, do you think sit-ups are good for people? I mean, I can see that if you tried to do 20 of them right off the bat, you're going to be in pain at some point down the line. But if you start off with maybe one, the next day two, that might you might be able to work your way into some kind of exercise program.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of sit-ups, to be honest with you. There's a lot of research that shows that it really increases the pressure on your discs with doing a standard, you know, sit-up where you go all the way up and touch your knees. Crunches, I'm very, very much in favor of. But, you know, what I will say is both of those exercises are if you will, a flexion exercise where you're rolling up. And that is working what's called the rectus abdominis. So that's our six-pack muscle, which, you know, everybody always wants to have a six-pack, right? But they're not, they contribute to the core strength, but they're definitely not kind of our stabilizers that help stabilize the lower back. You know, their function in the way that their fiber direction runs is that kind of up and down. And so they do great at crunches. They do great at sit-ups, but they don't do a lot as far as dynamic stuff when you're twisting and lifting and moving through your daily movement patterns. So I'm not the biggest fan of sit-ups.
But I'll tell you, I have one pack right now, so I'd like to work my way up to a six pack if possible. So we're going to take a break. We're talking to Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy, and when we come back, let's talk about maybe exercise in general for our older adults. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS.
SCVI is a tuition-free TK through 12 charter school that gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely. We offer a customized learning program built around your child's unique interests and strengths, with the only international baccalaureate program in all of Santa Clarita. Our approach keeps students and families in step no matter where your learning is taking place. Be empowered to make your mark on the world at SCVI. To take a tour or enroll now in our one-of-a-kind program, visit ileadsantaclarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
If you're in need of physical therapy, check out Focus Physical Therapy. Owner and therapist Adam Laraway has the latest in cutting-edge technology, introducing the Newbie, the ultimate in neuromuscular re-education. The Newbie can help you heal up to 70% faster and was FDA cleared in September 2017. The Newbie uses pulse direct current, which mimics the same neurological signals the brain uses and allows the therapist to identify those signals with 100% accuracy. Newbie can even help improve your sleep while tackling issues with neck, knee, and shoulder pain, sciatica, and arthritis. It can accelerate your fitness progress, which means better results in less sessions. Get stronger quicker. Why not use the same technology that the Dodgers and the LA Clippers use? Focus PT, located on Peachland off Lyons in Newhall. Call 255-4205. Go online at focusphysicaltherapyscv.com.
We salute our veterans who sacrifice for our freedom. Every week, we share an inspirational story of a local veteran on our Hometown Heroes page at hometownstation.com, thanks to our good friends at Eternal Valley.
I'm Richard Nunnally, General Manager of Eternal Valley Memorial Park and Mortuary. We believe taking care of each other is what community is all about. We're proud to bring you the stories of our hometown heroes.
Eternal Valley, life well celebrated.
Visit hometownstation.com, sponsored by Eternal Valley.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio on your hometown station, AM 1220 and FM 98.1 KHTS. We're talking to Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. And, we talked about 6-packs and 1-packs, but we want to just talk generally about exercises for our seniors because, certainly getting the core strengthened is important, but there are other areas of the body, the shoulders, the calves, even in the ankles where that is our support mechanism and we can't falter on that. So tell us about what swimming, walking, weightlifting, those kind of modalities and methods of exercise, how they can help seniors and getting through life.
Absolutely. So I love all of those exercises, to be honest with you. Walking is one of my favorite ones because it's such a good exercise. It challenges so many of your systems, and you have to do it every day. It helps with cardiovascular endurance. It's a lower level, so it helps you burn fat. If that's one of your goals, you're trying to lose some weight, it's at a lower level, which allows you to tap into that system right away. You're getting a little bit of proprioceptive input, so it's helping, with balance and stability, and so there's just so many benefits of walking. And then if you add some, small hills or inclines or uneven surfaces, that even challenges even more. What I will say is the biggest thing with exercise is that it's got to be do something that you enjoy and that you do consistently, because that's the most important. And so, if you have someone you like to do it with, or listen to a podcast when you're walking, something like that. If you've got somebody who's going to hold you accountable, then you're going to do it consistently, and that's the most important thing. Water exercise is awesome as well, whether you want to swim or do water aerobics. The nice thing about the water is that the resistance of the water is what makes you stronger, and it helps burn energy, which is going to make your muscles have to work harder, and you're going to develop strength that way. The one downside of water sports is that you're not getting a lot of impact. So, for things for osteoporosis and osteopenia, we want some impact into those bones to try and keep them as dense as possible, which is really important for our seniors, because if you've got, osteoporosis or osteopenia and you fall, you're more at risk for a fracture. So doing some weight-bearing exercises is really, really important. And then, jumping to your third one with strength training is crucial. The stronger and more stable that you can keep your muscles and your joints with weight training is really important. There's a lot of studies, a lot of literature coming out right now showing that that weight training in your 60s, 70s, 80s is just as important as when you were younger, because it helps with keeping things strong, working correctly, firing correctly. They've been doing a lot of studies with just even like MRIs where they're looking at muscle density in somebody who exercises versus somebody who doesn't, and it's drastically different. And those, mortality rates drastically go up when you're not exercising. So it is really important in anything. But again, I would just jump back to finding something that you enjoy and that you can do consistently. That's probably your biggest bet to keep that habit going.
And, I see some of our patients, Adam, that they have not been exercising. They have obvious trouble just walking, let alone transferring.
Yes.
And, I've always told them, let's start with the basics. And, if I wish Medicare and the city of Santa Clarita would have more pools available for water exercising.
Yeah.
Because I know there's no impact, but you got to start somewhere. And
absolutely.
I'll tell you, when it gets warm and the water is 80 degrees you get into that water, you start to exercise, your muscles start to sense, hey, I feel better.
Absolutely.
And the joints start to sense it as well.
Yep.
Your core strength starts to improve. So I start my patients and send them over to our rec center, our recreation center, or we used to send them to COC for their water aerobics where Barbara used to go.
Yeah.
But there are places in Santa Clarita that have water exercises for seniors. And I think if you're listening and you know of somebody, one of the things to do is to find a place for them to start off at water exercises and then work their way up to walking and weightlifting. But we just don't, Adam, we just don't seem to do that on Medicare or Medi-Cal. And maybe it's something we should do. And look, we had Denise Lite on earlier, who's running for city council. Maybe we can bring that up with her.
Yeah.
She seems enthusiastic about it. We can start working on having facilities that work for seniors in terms of water exercises. What do you think about that?
I think that's wonderful. And at my last job, I was up in the Antelope Valley, but I actually, for my entire career, have done water therapy 3 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And Medicare does pay for it if it's medically necessary, and so it was great, And so I was in the water with the patients 3 days a week, and we would get in there, and it was wonderful. And the nice thing, you hit the nail on the head too. A lot of times we use that for that transition. So maybe they couldn't tolerate much in the clinic, but all of a sudden you get them in the water, and all of a sudden it opens up a whole new world because the buoyancy of the water creates the ability to move. Plus, like you said, you're getting resistance from the water, and now all of a sudden you've got this new world where you can move around and be successful and progress to get stronger and then transition back to the clinic. At some point I'm going to... Go ahead.
And the big part about it is, Adam, if you fall in the water, you don't break a hip.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to think about some of these simpler things for people to do, Adam. And I think your train of thought is on this. And with Denise Lite, for our hope and her role might be bigger than we think. And if indeed that happens, we can all work together to make sure our seniors develop core strength as well as develop enough strength so they don't fall anymore. So if people are they're listening to our show and seeing the common sense part of this from you, Adam, where are you located and how do they get a hold of you?
So we're located at 25050 Peachland Avenue, just off of Lyons. We're located right above Valencia Pharmacy, which I know a lot of people know where that's at. And our website is www.focusedphysicaltherapyscv.com. And our phone number is 661-255-4205, and I'm happy to answer any questions they might have.
255-4205. I'm sure on the second floor above Valencia Pharmacy, you don't have a pool.
We do not have a
because
pool.
If you did, I think they'd be afraid that you'd flood their medications out. So thank goodness for that. But you do a great job, Adam. We appreciate that. And again, appreciate you being on the show and giving us all this great information from core strength to six packs and to, the regular exercises of swimming, walking, and lifting weights. I think these are all important for our seniors. Once again, your phone number is 255-4205. Adam Lowry from Focus Physical Therapy. Thank you.
Thank you very much
for being on the show again.
Thank you.
We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care, Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, and Hestia Med Spa. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.